We want to understand the meaning of two things: election observer and election monitor. In English, monitoring and observing is the same, but in law, you'll find that there is the law English, the legal English, that is very much different from the Queen's English. For example, for a crime to be committed, there is a difference between intention and aim. But in the King's English, I had said the Queen's, the Queen died recently. The King's English, intention and aim are the same, just as observers and monitor. Who is an observer in the Kenyan law legal jargon? When an election is being conducted, there are some people who are either neutral, or even if they are aligned to one side, they are supposed to overtly declare which side they support. My own observation has that 90% of the so-called observers are aligned in one side, could I say one individual. They are always on his side. They will never notice a mistake he does, but will always magnify slightest thing done against him. Anyway, that is not the purpose of today. Observers are supposed to come and be registered at the Electoral Commission headquarters, where they say they want to observe an election. And then when they are accredited, they are given letters to go around. They monitor elections from when the campaign period is officially announced up to the results are announced. They want to see whether the whole process has been done well. And a polling station, the 12 or so, I think it is up to 18 times I've been a presiding officer. They are usually allowed to come and see everything that is happening. They are not even supposed to talk to the presiding officer. Anything they notice, they write. But as a presiding officer, I've always been having this system of consultation, all the time consultation with everybody who is there. Agents from all parties, and then observers and so on, with an intention that when I want to make a decision, I consult them, and then when I tell them, this is what I'm coming to make, they agree with me, because in most cases they are reasonable people. I have seen occasions where an observer comes and whispers to me and says something is happening in that corner. Can you go and check? And I go and check and I act upon it. So they don't even write, but in most cases they don't even tell the presiding officer, they just write in their report. Those are the observers. Observers in Kenya include religious organizations. We have election observer groups like ILOG and such a thing. We have even the human rights organization. We have even academic groups that want to observe the election for academic purposes. Now, who are the monitors? Monitors are like observers, but they are different. As I've said, observers are employed by local organizations, or they're even employed by international organizations. They do nothing, theirs is just to watch. But monitors are election officials, that is according to the Kenyan context, are election officials who are foreigners or have been employed by foreign bodies. Foreign bodies such as East African Community, such as IGAD, such as SADC, such as African Union, such as European Union, such as United Nations. They are employed as presiding officers, as returning officers. They are employed as presiding officers, and they are employed as election clerks. They do the work of those from other countries. I know personally, I've interacted with 2 Kenyans who were election observers in Sierra Leone. 3 actually, but one of them never mentioned it to me. The other 2 mentioned him. Brigadier General Musonye. He was one of them, but he never told me, but these other 2 told me that when they were out in Sierra Leone, he was one of them. There is a Reverend, now Bishop Joseph Tsuma. Joseph Tsuma, he was an election monitor, and also Maurice Kashero. Now, for those of you who have done election with Kenya, you know how they employ returning officer, presiding officers, and even clerks, polling clerks, counting clerks, renomination clerks at bomas, those people. They were, since they were known in Kenya and they were good election officials in Kenya, they were seconded to the UN, which went there. The tension in Sierra Leone was so much that no Sierra Leonean would conduct an election because they were known. If you stand up, they say, they know that you're on this side, or the other person stands up and they say, so they had to bring election officials from outside Sierra Leone to conduct elections. That is when they took the many Kenyan ECK officials, but I only know the 3. They did the work that a returning officer does. They did the work of a presiding officer does. They did the work of... So a monitor is a person who is a foreigner who is conducting election as just as a normal election official. Or he could even be a local person, but not employed by the local electoral commission. He is employed by the UN, African Union, European Union, SADC, IGAD, East African, you call them. If they employ somebody and take him or her to Rwanda to do the election, that is the election monitor. I think with that, to an ordinary person, is a good explanation. I avoided technical languages because they could be a challenge to somebody like you and me who just know ordinary English.